Ever stop to think about how you run the world's biggest democracy? Well, today we're going to do just that. We're breaking down the massive machine that is the Indian government. Let's get right into it. Seriously, think about it. How on earth do you run a country with over 1.4 billion people? You've got hundreds of languages, so many different cultures. It's got to be one of the most complex jobs in the world, right? Well, the answer, the whole blueprint, is laid out in India's constitution. All right, so first things first, power isn't just in one place. You can't have one person or one office calling all the shots. The whole idea is to share the load. Power gets split between the main national government in New Delhi and all the different state governments spread across the country. This whole setup has a name. It's called federalism. And honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like a huge family home. The central government, that's like the parents, dealing with the big stuff that affects everyone, like national security or foreign policy. Then you've got the state governments, and they're like the older kids in charge of their own rooms, their local areas. It's all about teamwork to keep the whole house running smoothly. And to make sure everyone knows exactly what their job is, the Constitution actually has these three lists. You've got the union list, which is all the stuff the central government handles, things like defense. Then there's the state list for local stuff like police and public health. And then there's the concurrent list for things they both have a say in, like education. This clear division of labor is really the secret sauce to managing a country this massive. Okay, so now that we get the big picture of power sharing, let's zoom in a bit. We're going to look at the central government itself. It's broken down into three main branches, and we'll start with the one that actually makes the rules. And that brings us right here to the Parliament of India. This is the heart of lawmaking in the country. It's the ultimate place where big national policies are debated and, you guessed it, where laws are born. Now, Parliament isn't just one big room. It's split into two houses. First, you have the Lok Sabha, which means House of the People. These are the folks you directly vote for, so they represent what the people want. Then you have the Rajya Sabha, the Council of States. Its members represent the interests of the different states. The whole point of having two houses is to create a balance, balancing what the people as a whole want with what the individual states need.
So how does an idea become a law? Well, it starts as something called a bill. It's just a proposal, really. For it to become law, it has to get a yes from a majority in both houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Once it's passed through both, it goes to the president for the final stamp of approval, and once that happens, bam, you've got yourself a new law. All right, so Parliament makes the law. Great. But who actually makes sure it happens? Who's in charge of the day-to-day running of the country? That leads us to the next branch of government. That job belongs to the executive branch. The name says it all, right? Their whole purpose is to execute the laws that Parliament passes. They're the ones who actually run the massive machinery of the government. Okay, here's something that trips a lot of people up. India has a president and a prime minister. So what's the difference? Well, think of the president as the head of state. It's a really important but mostly ceremonial role. The real executive power, the person actually running the show day to day, is the prime minister. He's the head of government, leading the whole team. So we've got our rule makers and our action takers. But who makes sure everyone plays fair? You need a referee, right? An umpire to make sure everyone follows the rules. And that brings us to our third and final branch. I mean, think about it. With all this power split between so many different groups, you absolutely have to have an independent referee, someone who can interpret the laws and make sure everyone is sticking to the ultimate rulebook, the Constitution. And that referee is the judiciary. Now, what's interesting here is that India has a single unified court system. That means you don't have separate federal courts and state courts like in some other countries. Nope, it's one big integrated system that handles laws from both the central and state governments. And you can picture the system like a pyramid. At the very bottom, you've got all the local district courts. This is where most cases get their start. Moving up a level, you have the high courts, which cover the states. And right at the very top, the peak of the pyramid, is the Supreme Court of India. They have the final say on everything, and whatever they decide is the law for every single court below them. So let's put it all together real quick. You've got federalism, which splits the power. You've got the legislature, which makes the laws. You've got the executive, which carries them out. And you have the judiciary, which is the referee for the whole game. It's this incredible system of checks and balances, all designed to manage the mind-boggling task of governing more than 1 billion people. And there you have it. That's a super fast tour of how the Indian government works. It's definitely complex, and yeah, it's huge, but it's all built on these really clear ideas. So, what country should we break down next? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time.